Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of our entire Blue Jay TV crew, welcome in to R.A. Fagnall Hall on the campus of Elmhurst College. This is Elmhurst College men's basketball action, as tonight the Blue Jays prepare to take on Kalamazoo College from Southwest Michigan. I'm Tim Calderwood. Gina Vanier is with me on this Thursday night as a pair of schools coming off of their first victories of the season prepare to do battle here tonight. And Gina, that first victory can do so much for a team.
You're absolutely right, Tim, and it has hopefully going to keep the motivation going for the Blue Jays. They're at home tonight. Big win against Westminster College on Sunday, only winning by 5 points, but hey, it's a win. It's going to get them started and going to get the team rolling and trying to get some more wins in that win column.
Mark Scheer quick to point out that Westminster defeated the Blue Jays last season here at R.A. Fagnall Hall. They went to the NCAA tournament a year ago and have virtually their entire roster back for this season as well. Mark Scheer said he felt his team is getting better on a daily basis, and it really showed in that contest on Sunday.
I think that throughout the season, a team like Elmhurst is going to just continue to develop. Fortunately for the Blue Jays and for Coach Scheer, he's got Joe Acosta back in his lineup, and that's just a guy that last year showed he's the type of kid you want on the floor. He's got a great sense of defense, and he's a hard worker. He's definitely like out there to battle and somebody that you want to have in your lineup, and there he is. He's going to start for the Blue Jays tonight.
And better news as well for Elmhurst. In addition to the return of Joe Acosta, James Robertson is back practicing as well after a hand injury. Robertson suited up for the first time in practice yesterday. He will not play tonight. He is not dressed, in fact, for the contest, but that will add some depth for Elmhurst as the season continues. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for the contest. For Kalamazoo, Mark Gaffari, a 5'10 freshman guard out of Grosse Pointe Shores, Michigan. Joe Wilson, a 6'2 junior guard out of Romeo, Michigan. The forwards, Ryan Clark, 6'3 senior from Leslie, Michigan. Tyler Stewart, a 6'3 senior out of Okemos, Michigan. And the big guy, Joe Prapolik, a 6'6 junior averaging 19 points per ball game out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. For the Blue Jays, Mike McCurdy starts at point guard, 6' junior out of St. Charles. He's joined by Zach Boyd, a 6'3 junior from Warrensburg, Illinois. Joe Acosta, 6'3 senior forward out of Elmhurst. Eric Ellingson, a 6'2 senior guard out of South Elgin. And Steve Crane starting again for the Blue Jays in the middle, 6'7 junior, also from right here in Elmhurst. So one thing the Blue Jays have been able to do here early on in the season is mess with those lineups a little bit. And Mark Scheer is very pleased with what his team has been showing in the past couple of contests, continually improving. And they will look to do that again tonight in just their second home game of the season, as Kalamazoo wins the tip and we're underway. The Hornets are in the black uniforms, led by head coach Rob Passage. And they work it into the post right away for Prapolik, who is long, and Eric Ellingson cleans up on the weak side. Kalamazoo 1-5 on the season. They lost their first 5 games of the season before downing Oberlin 83-62 out of Ohio on Monday for their first win of the season. McCurdy, one dribble to his right, between the circles for Ellingson with a pumpkin high above his head. Swinging right for Boyd. Blue Jays continuing to work around the arc. McCurdy on the move, angling right towards the corner, driving baseline, clearing out. Acosta knifing through the lane. To the left edge, Ellingson, three-pointer a little long, and the rebound is controlled by Mark Gaffari. Neither team has yet to score here in the contest. Coming up on 1 minute in, an open look at a three for Ryan Clark off the back iron. And the rebound belongs to Steve Crane. Here come the Blue Jays pressing ahead. Corner left for Ellingson. Kalamazoo opening in the man defense. Elmhurst in the white. Bouncing for Crane, low and to the right. Elmhurst very methodical here on offense. Plenty of passes. Crane with a 16-footer off the front iron. Tyler Stewart is there for the Hornets. Kalamazoo is a very poor rebounding team. They have been out-rebounded by over 8.5 rebounds per ball game, but they score first here with Joe Wilson underneath the bucket. That is an area Elmhurst needs to exploit today. Kalamazoo last in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association in rebounding. 2-0 lead for the Hornets. McCurdy patiently waiting as Ellingson pops out. He'll try the three. Dead on. No, the rebound is knocked around. And Ryan Clark reels it in. Here come the Hornets in a 3-on-2. An offensive foul. Ghaffari too strong to the hole.
Good effort by McCurdy to get back on defense there, Tim, and that's going to help out the Blue Jays. Hopefully we can now get on the board and start setting the pace really of this game. As you said, they're kind of being really kind of just stiff out there, especially on offense. We've seen that so far in just the first couple of minutes. Loosen up a little bit, get their focus back, and start putting some points on the board.
Along with Gina Veneer, I'm Tim Calderwood with you on Blue Jay TV, a non-conference matchup, Elmhurst and Kalamazoo. To the hole, it's Crane. A beautiful cut to the basket, off the glass and in. 19th meeting all time between these two schools. Kalamazoo holds an overall 11-7 lead in the series. However, the last three belong to the Blue Jays, including a 60-57 decision in Kalamazoo last season. Good cut to the basket, but it's swatted away. Clark with a nice cut towards the holes. Rob Passage, the ninth-year head coach of the Hornets. Fenley, who just enters, open corner left for three. And Elmhurst with their first lead of the contest at 5-2. Blue Jays will again be at home on Saturday. They will face Loras College, the preseason favorites in the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. 7:30 tip Saturday night. Hope to have you along for that contest. Here is Clark, patiently waiting to tie the score. Ryan Clark, the 6'3" senior, knotting it up with the triple, 3.5 minutes into the first. Boyd lost it off his foot, rolling towards the Elmhurst bench. It was tipped. Boyd will run it again. Another thing Mark Scheer was saying is Elmhurst is slowly but surely starting to add to their offense as well, as Boyd falling away, hits from 12. Boyd with a huge game on Sunday at Westminster. 22 second-half points, 24 overall, helping to lead Elmhurst to the come-from-behind decision.
Yeah, Zach Boyd, Tim, is just a guy that you want in your lineup for sure. He leads the team in a pretty much all of the offensive records right now. And he'll step up tonight for sure. He'll show us what he's got tonight.
In and out. Boyd can rebound as well. 6.2 per night. Elmhurst by 2. Fenley, arc left, three-pointer, off to the right. Long rebound for Krapolik. Ahead to Joe Wilson, who is hacked on the way up. Zach Boyd with the foul, his first. It is the first on the Blue Jays. And Joe Wilson is at the line. 3 double-digit contests this season. Played in all 26 games for Kalamazoo last season. The Hornets finishing just 6-20. They were 0-10 to start the season before a 4-point non-conference win ignited a 3-game winning streak, the first 2 contests of conference play, and then they lost 5 in a row again from there. Second attempt, long off the back iron, Schroeder underneath. First half of play from Elmhurst. The Blue Jays up by a point on the visitors from Kalamazoo. Fenley picks up his dribble, finds McCurdy, driving baseline left, over the top of Krapolik. A little too long. Tyler Stewart, baseline left, to the corner for the driving Clark, and another offensive foul. Schroeder stepped in and drew the charge. First substitution of the game for Kalamazoo. Off the bench is Jeff Hollenbeck, a 6'1" senior out of East Lansing, Michigan. Boyd high and right. Finds Fenley in front of the Kalamazoo bench. Around the arc we go. Schroeder moving right on the dribble. Cuts towards the basket. He was wide open, and an offensive foul underneath. Joe Acosta with his first. The second on the Blue Jays, and another sub for Kalamazoo. Alex Lapka, senior out of East Lansing, Michigan, entering for the Hornets. Kalamazoo is a team that likes to slow things down, coming in averaging just 65.8 points per ball game as Acosta jumps the entry pass, knocks it away. Nearly identical to the Blue Jays, who are averaging 65.6 points per contest. Elmhurst, in their 67-61 victory over Westminster on Sunday, shot a season best 51% from the floor, including Gina, a huge advantage from three-point range, 12 of 19, 63%. Hollenbeck to the basket. Kalamazoo's back in front at 8-7. Schroeder, high right, over to Boyd. McCurdy will take his time. He's handling the point for the Blue Jays. Up the right edge of the lane, thwarted, back out towards Acosta, who collides with Lapka. And Alex Lapka's first foul is the third against Kalamazoo. Enter Deontay Foster off of the Elmhurst bench. Foster, Acosta, Fenley, Schroeder, and Boyd, the five for the Blue Jays. 13:55 first half. Schroeder right of the glass. Out to Boyd, high left. Rotate around towards the right corner. Fenley with one dribble. Slings it up high to Acosta, 15 to shoot. Schroeder pops out. Left-handed dribble to Boyd, who pops out. Open three-pointer, no.
It was excellent ball movement there, Tim, by the Blue Jays on offense. But now I can't stress any more than taking advantage here on defense. You've got two of Kalamazoo's key players out. Now's the time to really step up, make your offense work. You got Joe Wilson out, Prepelic is out. Both of the two key players for Kalamazoo. Got to take advantage.
Ryan Clark from 17, stretching the lead to three. Boyd just inside the three-point arc will try an 18-footer. And it's one and done. Elmhurst has to crash the glass. Two similarly sized teams in terms of height. Clark will try from corner left. Long, and Schroeder controls. Here is Foster to the left elbow, stepping in from 15. Missed it to the right. That's another one and done for the Blue Jays. Tyler Stewart moving, bouncing towards the cutting Hollenbeck, and an offensive foul again. A lot of offensive fouls here in the early goings of the contest. The officiating crew for this one, Eric Anderson, Craig Jeffries, and Dave Cronin.
Luckily, they've all been mostly to the advantage of the Blue Jays so far, and that's something that is credit to the Blue Jays defense.
Dane Carey in off of the Kalamazoo bench. Three subs for the Hornets. Prepelic re-enters. Fenley pivoting in front of the Kalamazoo bench. Slings it into the left corner for Nick Sanford, who has entered for Elmhurst. Sanford, a freshman out of Decatur. Also in is Bailey Barnett for the Blue Jays. The shot clock is down to 5. Fenley, baseline left, off the glass, no. And there is Prepelic with the rebound. Wilson, hard to the hole, and another offensive foul. Elmhurst playing in front of the home fans for just the second time this season. They lost by 4 to Hamlin, 71-67 on November 20th. On a very controversial call in the last minute of the ball game. Fenley, open high left, three-pointer off the back iron. Swooping in is Barnett to attempt to keep the rebound alive. But away with it come the Hornets. Hollenbeck is open, short on his three-point attempt. Kalamazoo pretty good at defending against three-pointers this season. Second best three-point percentage defense. It's certainly an area they'll try to exploit against the Blue Jays today after Elmhurst buried 12 three-pointers in Missouri on Sunday. nearing the midway point of the first half. 3-point edge for Kalamazoo at 10-7. Barnett, triple threat, starts to go left. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Foster, elbow right, knocked away and stolen. Dane Carey, coast to coast, up and in, 12-7.
Blue Jays really got to get the offense rolling here, Tim, and that's very clear. Take advantage of your height that you have on the court right now. You got a guy that's 6'7" down low. Crane's about to check in again too, so you're going to have two guys at 6'7" for the Blue Jays. Run some high-low, simple pick and roll, and get the offense rolling.
Yeah, they're almost taking a little bit too much time in the offensive end. They've had about 3 possessions that have gone down to the very end of the shot clock. 10:42 in the first, a 30-second timeout for Elmhurst. We would appreciate you answering to the poll question on your screen. How is the quality of the video and the audio? Provided by yours truly, Tim Calderwood, and Gina Veneer, who is with me as always tonight. Only one other game in the CCIW tonight. Wheaton is at home facing an out of Division III opponent in Trinity International NAIA program. Keep tabs on that contest throughout the course of the evening. Only one CCIW team is unbeaten at this point in the year, and when we get our next opportunity, I'll let you know about the standings through the non-conference portion of the season. Boyd will bounce right for Acosta. Crane at the right elbow, hands off to Acosta. He'll try the left side, too long. Crane swept in. Rebound is loose, a jump ball is called, and it will stay with Elmhurst. Starting 5 on the floor for the Blue Jays again. Acosta, Crane, Ellingson, Boyd, and McCurdy. Ellingson steps out, wing right. Boyd isolated on the left edge, outside the paint. He'll hit the 8-footer. Snapping a mini run for Kalamazoo, had scored 6 straight points to grab a 5-point edge. Jump stop for Grant Carey. Left it short. Boyd will use a screen from Crane. Pushing towards the right corner for Ellingson. Past the midway point of the half, Kalamazoo 12, Elmhurst 9. Boyd between the circles, met by Carey. Bouncing into the post for Crane, off his foot, struggling to control. A little too strong for Acosta, who recovered and was fouled on the way up.
As you mentioned, Tim, kind of a slower pace on offense we're seeing here from the Blue Jays, but once we pick it up and start doing plays like that, looking for guys down low, they're going to be wide open when you continue to run those plays in a method as we've been seeing so far. And it's going to put guys like Acosta on the line here to get some points.
First free throw attempt tonight for Joe Acosta, who is 0 for 3 on the season thus far. And he missed his first attempt. Acosta did not suit up for the first 3 ball games of the season. Returned to score 2 points at Olivet, who's also in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Kalamazoo tonight, the second opponent for the Blue Jays out of said conference. Olivet, one of the top teams in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, upended the Blue Jays 88-76 on December 1st. Crane falls to his knees, shovels to the cutting Acosta. And Elmhurst with 3 straight is clawed to within 1 at 12-11. Good defense by Boyd to get his hands up in the passing lane, and McCurdy is tripped. Dane Carey did his best to step in. And we will have free throws already with 9:07 to play in the half. It's the 7th foul on Kalamazoo. McCurdy is the shooter. 3 double-figure contests this season, including 11 at Westminster. Connected on 3 3-pointers in the contest. Mark Shears saying that the Blue Jays actually left on Saturday for that Sunday game against Westminster, which is a couple hours outside of St. Louis. That's the first free throw from McCurdy. Drops in. 13 of 15 at the line this season, 86%. Spent part of the day in St. Louis, drove down to St. Louis. They had a chance to go up to the Arch. 16 of the players, varsity and junior varsity, had never been up there before. Gina, have you ever been to the Arch?
I haven't, but I think something like that is taking the weekend off like that, giving your guys some time to relax, get there a little bit early. I think it really pays major benefits to the team, and it really paid off. I mean, hence they got the win. But of course, they also get some team bonding in there, Tim, which is important for team chemistry too. And being on a college team myself, you know the importance of that. When a coach kind of takes that initiative, it's something that the guys should be very grateful for.
I was told it was a windy day. I'm not a fan of the Arch on windy days. Popping out off of a screen for an open three is Clark in the right corner. 15-13 as Kalamazoo snaps the run. You know why that is? Because the wind makes the Arch wobble.
Yeah, and that can be a little frightening, I'm sure.
Yes, especially for those of us who are afraid of heights. Acosta to the basket. Still going down. That hung up forever.
Friendly roll there for Joe.
It's good to see Acosta back to his form. He's really strong to the basket here today. A hold is called. Crane held up for Pollock. So they spent the day down in St. Louis, had a chance to go to the Arch, went to dinner in downtown St. Louis, and then drove the final 2 hours of their trip out to Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri. And practiced down there on Saturday night, about 9:30 or so. Kind of a late workout for the Blue Jays, but it paid off.
Those are memories, too, that the guys are going to keep forever. And, you know, they've got more to look forward to as well. As a team, they're going to be traveling to Vegas. Can only imagine the type of fun they're going to have there.
Did the Blue Jays get a timeout? No. Jump ball before Schroeder was calling for the TO. Tied at 15 with 7:59 to go in the first. Elmhurst will head to the Las Vegas Hoopla tournament. They'll head out west to play a pair of regional games December 20th and 21st. They will meet Aurora, an always tough program out of the Northern Athletics Conference, on the 20th, and Wisconsin Oshkosh on the 21st. Long three-pointer for Clark, well off the mark.
Got to go all the way to Vegas to play Aurora, huh? Must be a nice life.
Boyd corner left. You get them where you can, as they say.
We had a softball tournament in Florida. We ended up playing a few teams from the Midwest. All the way down in Florida, for whatever reason, our spring break for softball. But
would you rather in February or March be playing them up here?
Absolutely not.
All right, then.
Not in an outdoor sport.
McCurdy is open in the right corner. Three-pointer, in and out. Hollenbeck controls for Kalamazoo. To the line, left-handed hook shot off to the right, and Schroeder reels it in.
So far, Tim, we've seen exactly what the numbers that have shown us and the statistics that both of these teams have shown us is what type of team they are. It's an evenly matched contest, non-conference game, and it's anybody's game.
A walk for Schroeder. Mark Scheer is using a lot of players here in the first half, as Raphael Oglesby will enter for the first time, a junior out of South Holland. Oglesby, along with Foster, Schroeder, Ellingson, and Boyd, the five for Elmhurst. Out of bounds to the Blue Jays. Kalamazoo played a relatively tough schedule thus far in the 2010-2011 season. They hosted Anderson, who is in the top 25, and also hosted Manchester, who was in the top 25. The same Manchester team, which, by the way, picked apart Wheaton earlier in the season. They had some rough contests to start, dropping their first three games by 20-plus points. But since then have settled down, suffering a 3-point loss, a 5-point loss before a 21-point win on Monday. Bonus time for the Blue Jays as Deontay Foster steps in. He started the season opener against Cornell, scored 8 points, spending 39 minutes on the floor. Started 2 ball games last year. Foster hails from Michigan. He's a sophomore out of Muskegon, Michigan. And another free throw for Foster, just like the first. His first 2 of the night. Elmhurst 17, Kalamazoo 15. Stewart bounces to the right corner for Carey. Skip it onto the left side, in and out of the hands of Lapka, who recovers. Kalamazoo will reset. Stewart to the left wing. Sets a screen for Clark, who steps right. Down to 10 to shoot. Stewart, elbow left, working on Boyd. Picks up his dribble out to Clark with 5 to shoot. Clark will force up the 17-footer, rattles around, and Deontay Foster scoops it up for the Blue Jays.
Foster looking to really get something running and get it running quick. You mentioned Shear checking in and out a lot of different players. At doing that can keep players fresh, but at the same time, it may make your offense struggle to get into a rhythm, which is a lot of times what you're looking for right now. We're seeing a lot of ball movement, and what we really need is just somebody to drive to the basket and make things happen on offense.
Shot clock is at 5 for Ellingson at the free throw line. Lost it. Knocked away by Grant Carey, 2-on-1. To Clark, the right-handed layup falls through, and we're again tied at 17. Kalamazoo with a relatively thin bench today. And they've dressed only 12 for the contest. Oglesby will try from the left corner. Stepping out of bounds is Grant Carey. And it'll be an offensive rebound for Elmhurst, with Bailey Barnett returning. Also in is Eric Dornfeld. Oglesby inbounding. Barnett steps out at the left elbow, a stutter step and a walk. Sixth turnover of the game for the Blue Jays. Kalamazoo with 6 turnovers as well. Elmhurst just 1 of 8 from three-point land so far. Carey to the lane, blocked by Finley, but he also got a piece of the arm. Sean Finley, the former All-CCIW player at Carthage. Elmhurst product, using his final year of eligibility here with the Blue Jays. As Grant Carey stepping to the free throw line. Kalamazoo is 1 of 2 from the stripe today. Carey's first free throw falls in. 13 minutes against Oberlin. 2 offensive rebounds. No points for the freshman out of Roscommon, Michigan. His brother Dane is a senior for the Hornets. And with both free throws, Kalamazoo will have a 2-point advantage at 19-17. Foster high left, starts to move, pushing right to the corner for Oglesby. He'll pick up his dribble as Finley pops out. Left corner, it's Barnett to Dornfeld at the left elbow, handing off to Barnett to an open Foster, corner right, 3-pointer short. Dornfeld with an offensive rebound. It was tipped by Carey, and Foster will head all the way back to his end to corral the loose ball. Foster crosses over high right. Here's Oglesby, top of the arc. Pivoting, finding Dornfeld with Barnett posting. Down to 13 to shoot. Finley right corner, lobbing for Dornfeld, right of the paint. Dornfeld with a step-back move. His 13-footer is swatted by Krapolik, but an offensive rebound. And the Blue Jays have evened things up. Jump stop. Here's Krapolik, who has been very quiet so far tonight. 20-plus points in 4 of the first 5 games. Has been silent here in the first half, and Elmhurst will head to the line following a hard collision underneath the basket.
Well, we saw in the last offensive set Oglesby with a nice putback, and he is again hustling down the court. As we mentioned before, Shear putting in a couple of new guys and seeing what they can bring to the offense, and seeing him hustle down the court and want to do something on offense makes a coach, got to make a coach real happy.
12 players have seen the floor already tonight for the Blue Jays. with 3:13 remaining in the first half as Raphael Oglesby converts on his first free throw. Junior tallied a season-high 7 points in the only home game of the season for the Blue Jays thus far, the loss to Hamlin. Elmhurst has always been a very good free throw shooting team. They're at 70% on the season. These are the first attempts of the season for Oglesby. And he's good on both. 21-19. Dane Carey running the point, bouncing out towards Ryan Clark. Leaning in at the right elbow from 14. It's tapped and loose, still on the floor. Diving is Foster. Couple of bodies all around, and it leads to an easy layup for Propolic, who enters the contest averaging 19 points per game.
That's one guy you really want to try to keep the basketball out of the hands just because you don't want him to get too hot. I mean, he's a 6'6" junior for Kalamazoo. Somebody, as you mentioned, 19 points per game. You can't let him get a run and kind of get on fire, really.
Down to 15 to shoot. Oglesby strong to the basket and an offensive foul, too strong, as Mark Gaffari got the better end. And Mark Scheer will work a line change for the Blue Jays. 5 in, 5 out. McCurdy, Boyd, Ellingson, Crane, and Acosta, the starting 5 for Elmhurst in a 21-all affair. 2 minutes and 25 seconds in front of halftime. Carey crossing over, McCurdy on him. Dribbling into the right corner. Bouncing out. Gaffari, top of the key. Back towards Carey with 13 to shoot. Here's Propolic surrounded. Right of the lane, Propolic looks for help. In steps Gaffari, spinning and converting on the 10-footer. (23-21) in a very back and forth first half. Acosta using a screen from Crane, angles left. Into the left corner for Ellingson. Right-hand dribble, back out it goes with 15 to shoot. Crane high right, hands off to McCurdy against the double team, leans in and drew the contact. It's the 10th of the half against Kalamazoo. 2 free throws the rest of the way for Elmhurst. It was a shooting foul anyway for Mike McCurdy. Started 9 games as a sophomore and averaged 6.4 points per contest. He's in double digits so far for Elmhurst this year at 10.4 per ball game. But his first free throw is off the mark. McCurdy out of Burlington Central High School. Converts on the second free throw. 3 points for McCurdy in the ball game. The Blue Jays have sliced it to 1 at 23-22 with 1:20 to go in the first. Clark tries the right side, dumps it off for Stewart. Entry pass for Propolic, and Crane steps in front. Crane setting up a decoy to the basket, finishes in the paint.
Just under a minute left here, Tim. I think it's essential for the Blue Jays to try to get a run going here. Big stop on defense could help. It's been a back and forth ball game all day long.
How about Crane again with his hands in the passing lane? To the basket against Carey, too long. Boyd with an offensive rebound will back it up. Mark Scheer wants one shot. A 7-second difference between the shot and game clock here in the first half. McCurdy will take his time as Gaffari steps out to draw the count. Now it is Ellingson. 30 feet away, over to McCurdy again with 15 to shoot. Bouncing towards the left corner. He'll hand off to Boyd. Crane in the lane. Turnaround, shot was blocked by Propolic. 10 seconds to go in the half, it's a 3-on-2. Gaffari to the basket, up and in. Kalamazoo takes the lead as we head to the locker room, 25-24, in what has been a very exciting first half. But the Blue Jays could have had the advantage heading to the intermission were it not for a lapse enabling a 3-on-2 break for the Hornets just before the conclusion of our first half. A very exciting first half of play, Gina.
It has been, and Tim, you mentioned a back and forth kind of ball game that we've been seeing so far, and that's exactly what it is. We saw 20 minutes of both teams not really being able to get into a rhythm on offense. Not a lot of turnovers, but it was just kind of awkward. There was no flow for the Blue Jays, and that's something that I know Coach Scheer is going to talk about to his guys right now at halftime. Something that's going to get them going, and that's going to guarantee a little bit more than a 4-point lead, but more like a double-digit lead that's going to help them to kind of be more confident in the rest of the game.
Let's take a look at the standings around the CCIW. Entering play this evening, Augustana has won their first 5 contests. They're 5-0. Illinois Wesleyan is 6-1, but suffered their one loss to Chicago at home. A very disappointing defeat for the Titans. Carthage 6-2, Wheaton 5-2, North Park 3-2. North Central, after losing 4 straight, has won 3 straight. They're 3-4. Elmhurst and Milliken are 1-4 on the season. Mentioned there's one other game currently underway in the conference tonight. The only other game on the schedule, Wheaton and Trinity International tied up at 39 with 2.5 minutes to play in the first. Here in Elmhurst, it is Kalamazoo 25, Elmhurst 24. We'll have some first half numbers coming your way in a bit. Hang with us. This is Blue Jay TV. Back from R.A. Fagettle Hall on the campus of Elmhurst College, along with cameraman Rich, producer-director Glenn. I'm Tim Calderwood. Gina Veneer is next to me as always on this fine Thursday night. Let's take a look at some of the first half numbers as Kalamazoo holds a 25-24 advantage. Kalamazoo shot 43% from the floor, 10 of 23, just 2 of 6 from three-point land. They were at the free throw line 4 times and converted on 3 of those attempts for 75%. Elmhurst, meanwhile, was held to just 32% shooting in the first half, 8 of 25. Mentioned Kalamazoo is a pretty good at defending the three-point arc. Well, that held true in the first half. Elmhurst was only 1 of 9 from three-point range, 11%. They were, however, 7 of 10 at the free throw line. Blue Jays out-rebounded Kalamazoo 18-14, with 6 of those coming on the offensive end. 8 Kalamazoo turnovers, 6 Elmhurst turnovers, resulting in 10 Kalamazoo points and 8 Elmhurst points. So, Gina, both teams did a very good job in the first half of capitalizing on each other's mistakes.
Absolutely, and we've, it's just beating kind of a broken record now, but both of these teams are very evenly matched, and it's anyone's game. And now the second half is really going to show who wants it more. Given it's a non-conference game, I can really tell that Coach Scheer he was in and out real quick at halftime and probably just said, we need to get things rolling. Do you want to get this second game at home as a W? I'm sure all the guys do. We saw that there were 7 ties in the first half of play and 10 lead changes. Goes to show it's anybody's game.
How did that go? A W?
A W.
That's very impressive.
Who's responsible for W, saying that, W? The W. It's got to be a Cub guy, a Cubs announcer.
I think it might be the last man to occupy a certain house in Washington.
Yeah, that or Harry Carey, one of the two.
25-24, Kalamazoo with the lead here on Blue Jay TV. So glad to have you alongside tonight. Ryan Clark with 10 first half points to lead the Hornets. Joe Propolic, averaging 19 points per ball game, was held to just 2. In fact, he only took 3 shots in the opening 20 minutes of play. Elmhurst has 4 players at 4 points apiece. And a very balanced effort for the Blue Jays, who open with the basketball. Crane falling away, baseline right from 8 feet.
First point shot. Any time you get a point right at the beginning of the half, it's going to start a motivation for your team. That's exactly what they want to do coming out.
It's the starters for each side. For Elmhurst, McCurdy, Boyd, Acosta, Ellingson, and Crane. As Kalamazoo right away gets Propolic involved. For Kalamazoo, it's Ghaffari, Wilson, Clark, Stewart, and Propolic, who has once again pushed Kalamazoo ahead by a point at 27-26. Both teams are coming off of their first wins of the season. Ellingson open on the right edge. Three-pointer is through. Eric Ellingson with his first 3 points of the ball game. He's 0 of 2 from three-point land in the first half. Elmhurst 29, Kalamazoo 27. You're on Blue Jay TV. Open on the right edge is Joe Wilson, and he'll answer with a three of his own. Both teams very reliant on the three-point shot. A combined 15 attempts in the first half, but just 3 makes from bonus distance. 2 for 2 thus far in the second half as Crane throws it away, targeting Boyd. It's about 3 rows up into the seats. Oh, somebody's wearing a LeBron James Heat shirt.
Wow.
As someone who spends a few months of the year in Cleveland, I have nothing positive to say about that. Mark Ghaffari crossing over, bouncing for Propolic, right of the lane. Around Crane, beautiful move. Fake to his right, stepped right around Crane, and a reverse layup dropped in. 32-29, Kalamazoo by 3. Crane posting. Elmhurst working it out around the post. 4 out, 1 in offense. Rotating for McCurdy. His open three-pointer is short, but an offensive rebound by Boyd will give the Blue Jays another chance. Here's McCurdy to the basket between 4 defenders, up and in. Right through the middle of the entire Kalamazoo defense.
Great second effort there, Tim, by McCurdy for the Blue Jays.
Second chance points. In the first half, Elmhurst with 6 second chance points on 6 offensive rebounds. They can continue to take advantage on second and third opportunities. They have a chance to record their second consecutive victory. We will have another broadcast of Elmhurst College Athletics coming your way on Saturday as Propolic, who was held to just 2 points in the first half, has 4 of the first 7 for Kalamazoo in the second. The Iowa Conference preseason favorites, Loras College, will be visiting R.A. Fagel Hall for a 7:30 tip-off in men's basketball action on Saturday night. Look forward to having you along for that contest. As a foul on the rebound. It's on Steve Crane. His second, it is the first of the half. And a timeout for the Blue Jays. A 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. 34-31, Kalamazoo with the advantage tonight on this Thursday night contest. If you're wondering, and I know you are, Elmhurst will open the CCIW portion of their schedule against Milliken on January 5th. They've got quite a few home contests yet to come. Mentioned Loras on Saturday, then they head to Las Vegas. They're back after Christmas for the Blue Jay Classic Tournament, an every other year event returning this season. They will open against DePaul University on the 29th at 8 o'clock, and then they will meet either Benedictine or Calvin in the second contest in the final non-conference showdown. Don't forget to follow Elmhurst College Athletics on Twitter. Elmhurst Blue Jays, as you see the address. We'll have all the up-to-date schedules of our contests here on Blue Jay TV. Also, don't forget about ElmhurstBlueJays.com, official internet home of Elmhurst College Athletics. Out of the timeout, Kalamazoo with the basketball. The Blue Jays drop back into the half-court man. Tyler Stewart, high right, into the corner for Ghaffari. Propolic is surrounded as he calls for it, and an offensive foul calling for it. Propolic wanted the basketball, and he has whistled for an offensive foul as he was frustrated with 2 Blue Jay defenders around him. Acosta to Boyd, baseline left, jump stop in the lane. He's pushed from behind. Shot won't go, but Zach Boyd is on his way to the line. Boyd with 4 points and 6 rebounds in the first half for Elmhurst. He's 6'3" out of Warrensburg, Illinois, the leading scorer for the Blue Jays this season. He's also a pretty good rebounder, and he's shown it here tonight. Follows through on his first free throw. Boyd at the line for the first time this evening. Double figures in all 4 games this season. Led the Blue Jays in scoring and rebounding last season as well. And he has pulled Elmhurst within 1 at 34-33. Jafari against McCurdy. Help coming in from Schroeder. Propolic wants it, and he is fouled. Quick release from Propolic to the open Jafari, but he was held up. So there will not be 2 points on the board off of the make from Jafari. Mike McCurdy's first foul. Second on Elmhurst. Jafari corner right into the lane, 13 feet away. Back out to Propolic, showcasing his range and hitting the 16-footer. Propolic right at about the max point of his range, out to about 15 feet or so. Open underneath is Schroeder. Swatted away by Propolic. Here come the Hornets, all the way to the hole. It's Wilson with a left-handed scoop.
Well, clear there that the Hornets just simply took advantage of Schroeder's miss, ran down the floor to get their another basically 4 points within about 10 seconds.
Boyd in the left corner with the right-hand dribble, up high towards McCurdy and around the arc to Sean Fenley. Fenley to the right with 20 to shoot. Locates Boyd, back to Fenley, into the corner McCurdy. For Schroeder, who's bothered, into the lane. Acosta, right corner, along the baseline. Nobody got a second opportunity. Out to Fenley, all alone for 3, off the back iron, and Propolic will make sure there's not a third chance. Propolic was in position, and it was off the glass to Fenley. Acosta corner right against Jafari. Elmhurst down by 5, 5 minutes into the second half. Fenley has it knocked away by Wilson, but diving on top is Schroeder to save possession. 10 to shoot. Schroeder, elbow left, is back to the bucket. Turn and face, hands off to Acosta. Over to Boyd, left corner, three-pointer, bingo!
Very well executed offensive play we're seeing right now by the Blue Jays, trying to get pinched back to this game.
And a timeout for Kalamazoo, a full timeout. With 14:39 to play. The Hornets by 2, 38-36. We step aside. This is Blue Jay TV. Kalamazoo taking their first time out of the evening, up by a pair, 38-36, in what has been a back-and-forth contest. The largest lead of the game has been 5 points. Kalamazoo has twice held 5-point advantages. In the first half alone, we had 7 ties and 10 lead changes. Quick look at the numbers here early in the second half. Kalamazoo shooting 55% from the floor, 16 of 29. Elmhurst at 12 of 34. Ooh. Dribbled off the foot of Grant Carey and into his assistant coaches.
Well, now we're hearing the Blue Jay fans a little bit, Tim. They are here. Second home game of the season. decent fan support here at Elmhurst College, as always.
Nick Sanford has entered, and Zach Boyd perfect to the basket to tie it up. 38 aside. Tyler Stewart up the left edge of the lane. Wilson contact, offensive foul, he loaded his shoulder. Rob Passage looking for an explanation. It is the third foul whistled against Wilson. Deontay Foster, Zach Boyd, Aaron Schroeder, Nick Sanford, and Eric Ellingson for the Blue Jays, who lose the basketball. Open corner left is Carey, passing on a three, opting to drive instead. Bouncing for Alex Lapka. Lapka with the 18-footer, no, in and out. Both Careys are on the floor for Kalamazoo. Dane Carey and Grant Carey, along with Alex Lapka, Tyler Stewart, and Joe Wilson, who ends up with the basketball. 13:20 to play, deadlocked at 38. A very slow tempo contest, the way both teams like it. Open low left is Lapka, and he cannot convert. How many missed layups have we seen today?
Well, it's been quite a messy contest overall. Lots of fouls, lots of offensive fouls for the Hornets. Definitely messy for their defense, but I mean on both ends of the court and for both teams, neither of them have really been able to get into a rhythm and dominate the floor.
Foul is whistled on Grant Carey, the freshman. Put Zach Boyd to the free throw line. 11 points and 7 rebounds for Boyd today. Played 42 minutes in the season opening loss to Cornell. You look at the Elmhurst schedule this season in their first 2 games at Cornell and here at home against Hamlin. A 5-point overtime loss to Cornell and a 4-point home loss to Hamlin that was decided in the last minute. Boy, if those first 2 contests of the season had gone the Blue Jays' way, never know what they might be standing currently. Their worst loss on the schedule was at St. Norbert up in northern Wisconsin. St. Norbert is a solid program this season, ranked in the D3Hoops.com top 25. And as we mentioned, they've also lost to Olivet this season, who's also in the MIAA. Substitutions for Kalamazoo as Propolik returns. Mark Gaffari is also back on the hardwood. Elmhurst by 2, 40-38. Foster running the point. Rolling towards the left elbow. A jump stop for Boyd. Outside of the paint, 8-footer in and out. Propolik makes it a one and done. Gaffari to the basket, out of control. Falling to the floor is Foster, who couldn't get set. He was in a position to nearly draw a charge. But instead it is the first foul against Foster. Gaffari to the left edge. Entry pass for Propolik, who is tied up and will head to the line. Well, very clearly, Kalamazoo went into the locker room with one thing in mind, and that is getting their leading scorer involved. First foul on Schroeder and the fourth against Elmhurst. Non-shooting variety to Propolik. Just a fresh 35 for the Hornets. Hollenbeck, stutter step, out to an open Clark. Three-pointer on the left edge, through. Just like that, it's Kalamazoo ahead, 41-40. Boyd in front of the Elmhurst bench, utilizing a screen from Schroeder, who rolls. He was wide open underneath the basket. Foster with a jump stop to the left edge. Boyd from 17, short, and Propolik cleans up. Propolik nearly lost the basketball. in his hand. He spins in the lane. Too strong from 5 feet dead on. Boyd is there for Elmhurst. 11:25 remaining in the contest. Boyd to the basket. Pretty finish. And the Blue Jays once again lead at 42-41.
Well, in the first half, Tim, we only ever led by 3. Kalamazoo only ever led by a total of 5. So both teams here continuing to go back and forth, not give much of themselves a confident lead to kind of get something slowed down, just run a simple offense. What we're seeing is a lot of back and forth offensive plays.
Steve Crane will return for Elmhurst, replacing Schroeder on the floor. Back on for Kalamazoo is Tyler Stewart, 6'3" senior. One of the captains for the Hornets. And it is Stewart with the basketball. Quickly to Hollenbeck. Over to the left edge, Clark. Tried to get his defender to bite. And clears it out with 10 to shoot. Stewart back to Clark. His foot's on the line. The 19-footer won't drop, but an offensive rebound conveniently finds its way to Tyler Stewart, who easily drops it in to put the Hornets back in front. Back and forth we go. Where we stop, no one knows, to quote the great Willy Wonka. And I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka either.
The classic, the original. That's the one everybody loves.
The Gene Wilder.
There you go.
Nearing the midway point of the second. Crane high left. Tries to move. Thwarted by Propolik. Over to Sanford. Blocked from behind. Out of bounds with 3 to shoot. Ryan Clark with the block. Catch and shoot for Elmhurst. Sanford needing some help. To the corner for Ellingson. Steps back to beat the buzzer. No. Got a good look though. Challenged from about 23 feet away. Falling to the floor is Hollenbeck, who clears out to Ghaffari. His three-pointer is off the mark. Crane is held up on the rebound, but he is charged with the foul. His third. Our officiating crew again tonight: Eric Anderson, Craig Jeffries, and Dave Cronin. Clark's entry pass is knocked away. Ellingson chases it down. Past the midway point of the second half, a 1-point lead for Kalamazoo, 43-42. McCurdy directing traffic with the right hand as he dribbles with his left. To Ellingson between the rings. Out to Acosta on the right edge. Bouncing for Crane. Trying to turn, lost it. 10 to shoot. Ellingson steps back. Three-pointer off the front iron. Crane with an offensive rebound,
nice.
Puts it back.
Great job by Crane there after the miss by Ellingson to just put it back up and get 2. And now Elmhurst up by 1.
Steve Crane, the season best, 8 points in the win over Westminster on Sunday. Transferred in for the Blue Jays this year. Elmhurst product out of York High School. Acosta with the steal, and he's bothered by Ryan Clark. Second personal against Clark.
Good defensive hand there by Crane to get the ball in the possession of the Blue Jays. And hopefully, Tim, we can see them reload, kind of refocus here, get something running on offense, slow things down, take advantage of the defense, identify it. It's just a simple man-to-man. Coach Scheer probably wanting just a slower paced offensive set.
Speaking of Coach Scheer, Gina will head down and talk with the head coach of the Blue Jays following the contest. Boyd's three-pointer fails to drop, and a foul on the rebound. It is a shove against Crane, who is whistled for his 4th.
Lots of ball game left in this one here, Tim, and it's unfortunate to see a guy like Steve Crane, who's going to have to be checked in now for Schroeder's going to check in for him, but probably spend a couple of minutes on the bench. And he's a guy you want in your lineup, especially down towards the end of a contest.
30-second timeout for Kalamazoo. Mark Scheer, the 15th year bench boss of the Blue Jays, gathering his troops here during the timeout. He was not particularly pleased about the fourth foul against his post player. Elmhurst by 1, 44-33. We check in on the Wheaton Trinity International game. Wheaton struggled at the outset of the contest, but the Thunder now lead by 10 with 13 minutes remaining at 57-47 at home. This is Blue Jay TV coverage of Elmhurst College Athletics. I am watching from the Central Time Zone. Where are you watching from currently? Got a lot of Eastern people. That's because Michigan is in the Eastern Time Zone. Was in Kalamazoo a couple of weeks ago. Went up to watch the Fighting Illini take on Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo. Ironically, Kalamazoo scrimmaged said Western Michigan University during the preseason, as Elmhurst comes out of the timeout with a different look defensively, the 2-3 zone. See how Kalamazoo responds. They look a little complacent currently. Seeking openings, Ghaffari forced to a three-pointer for the lead.
Well, when you implement a 2-3 zone, as we all know, you're going to give up open shots, as we just saw. And it's just trying to limit them as best as possible when you switch to a 2-3 zone.
Boyd to the basket to answer. Zach Boyd is taking over for the Blue Jays. 17 points. A wild dribble for Tyler Stewart, who finds Ghaffari. Flipping out to Lapka, 15 to shoot for the Hornets. Tied at 46. Largest lead of the game has been 5 points. Kalamazoo has done it twice. Ghaffari, 17 feet away, partially blocked by McCurdy. Maybe it was just a bad shot. It was an air ball, apparently.
Well, thanks to the fans, I think we might have identified that shot a little bit better.
Kind of looked like McCurdy got a piece. Didn't think it could have been that poor of a shot. Boyd, what a move. Around Stewart to the rack again. How about Zach Boyd? Clark spotting up. Three-pointer, no. And Ellingson controls the rebound. Timeout for Elmhurst. It is a full one. And we step aside as well. 6:52 to play. Elmhurst 48, Kalamazoo 46. This is Blue Jay TV. Under 7 minutes to play. Elmhurst by 2, 48-46. Welcome back to RA Fagginal Hall. Tim Calderwood with you alongside Gina Vanier and our entire Blue Jay TV crew. Cameraman Rich, producer, director Glenn. Hope you are enjoying our coverage tonight. We'll have another men's basketball contest for you on Saturday evening against Loris. Tip-off is at 7:30 as the Blue Jays take on the preseason favorites of the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Zach Boyd, baseline right, picks up his dribble and clears out. Schroeder had an open look. Pass started to drive. Looked for help. Down to 10 to shoot. Knocked out of bounds by Stewart. Boyd fading away. (50-46), the largest lead of the game for Elmhurst at 4. And Kalamazoo will quickly deny that advantage. (21 points for Zach Boyd. As Joe Acosta dribbles, moving left around the arc, over to McCurdy. Three-pointer off to the left. Boyd, an offensive rebound, had it blocked, chased it down again. It's out of bounds. Underneath, Craig Jeffries wants some help. They will say it stays with Elmhurst.
Boyd is such a hard worker, and one thing, Tim, you can appreciate about a player like Zach Boyd is he never seems, well, of course now he's putting his hands on his knees, but too tired to really sit down. He's a guy that he wants to be on the floor the entire game. Leave him out there, and Coach Shear usually does.
42 minutes in the season opening loss at Cornell. Mind you, it was a 45-minute game with overtime. Acosta in front of the Blue Jay bench. Moves along the baseline. Clark uses it as a defender, knocked it away. And Propolik controls for the Hornets.
Well, you saw Acosta holding his arm after that shot. That was what his injury was from. He was in a sling for the first couple of weeks before the season even started, missing the first few games he did, and you can kind of see that he's in a little bit of pain right now. I don't know if he's back to 100% or not, but he's on the floor at any rate.
Knocked away by Clark. Schroeder stepping in to challenge, and he reached out and hacked the arm. Kalamazoo will head to the line looking to take the lead in this back and forth contest tonight here on Blue Jay TV.
Well, we've seen it all game long, Tim, and we'll probably see it right down to the last seconds of the game. Who's going to take this one home? And hopefully it is the Blue Jays, but at this point, we have no idea.
Ryan Clark to the line for two, and his first free throw is off the mark. Clark double figures in all 4 games this season. Started 20 of 25 games last year, averaging 13.8 points per ball game. Since the day he has stepped foot on Kalamazoo's campus, he has been pretty much a regular for the Hornets. He splits the pair, giving Kalamazoo the lead at 51-50. Sean Fenley is in the ball game, and Fenley is running point. Bouncing corner right for McCurdy, who is surrounded, looking for the open man, Sanford, and he's hammered. Referees right there making sure everybody's all right. On a hard foul by Joe Wilson, his 4th. It will enable Sanford to step to the line. Nick Sanford is 1 of 4 at the line this season. Question is, Joe Wilson with 8 points now has 4 fouls. As the free throw from Sanford is off the back iron, do you stick with him or not? And it would appear that question is not for now, with Jeff Hollenbeck taking his place, the senior out of East Lansing. Hit 3 trays on Monday in Kalamazoo's first victory of the season. Sanford spinning the basketball. To tie it up, yes sir. With 4:50 remaining, it is deadlocked at 51. Dane Carey trudging ahead. Spinning is Stewart over to the left edge for Clark. Propolik calling, and he receives the entry. An easy finish for Propolik.
Now you're seeing that Crane's back into the game. He does have 4 fouls, and though he's not really an overly aggressive type of guy on defense, he is going to have to really be under aggressive, as you have a decent amount of time left. he's going to find himself on the line. But as I mentioned, you have a decent amount of time left, so he's going to have to be not as aggressive, kind of relax his play a little bit, which could come back to haunt him because you need a guy like him at 100% all the time.
Steve Crane shooting 2. And he converts on the first free throw. Crane with a season-high point total tonight, 9. He had scored 8 against Westminster, which was his season best total. However, he will have to wait at least one more moment to reach double figures as his second free throw clanks off the back iron. And Kalamazoo maintains a 1-point lead at 53-52. Elmhurst went to zone ever so briefly. Kalamazoo splashed a 3-pointer against it. And now the Blue Jays are back in the man. And showcasing his range is Joe Propolik, who is beginning to heat up for the Hornets. 55-52 with less than 4 minutes to play. McCurdy on the right edge to the lane. Clearing out for Boyd. Baseline right. Driving, stepping in, and finishing. And a timeout for Elmhurst. A full timeout for the Blue Jays. Down to 3:39 to play this evening. Kalamazoo 55, Elmhurst 54. This is Blue Jay TV. At halftime, there were 10 lead changes and 7 ties. With 3:39 to play, we have had 22 lead changes and 11 ties. An incredible basketball game tonight here in Elmhurst, as Kalamazoo presently leads 55-54. Largest lead for the visiting Hornets has been 5 points. The largest Elmhurst lead this evening has been 4. Out of the timeout, it will be Kalamazoo basketball as the Blue Jays drop back into the half-court man. Joe Propolik with 14 second-half points for Kalamazoo. Acosta with his hands in the passing lane, swats it away. It is loose again, and Acosta will scoop it up.
That's exactly the type of player that I saw last year in Joe Acosta, and I was waiting to see come out again, and that's his defense. That's his style. And that's exactly why Coach Scheer has him out on the floor.
Missed a lot of time last season with an injury as well. Missed the first 3 games of this year with an injury, but he's back on the floor. Schroeder back to the bucket on the right wing. Pivoting, finding Acosta with 10 to shoot. Acosta into the lane, over into the left corner. McCurdy's 3 for the lead. You bet.
A graceful shot there by McCurdy. Huge shot with under 3 minutes to play.
McCurdy with his first 3-pointer of the night. 8 points in the game. 57-55. Here's Stewart, free throw line extended. Nope from 16. One and done, and with 2.5 minutes to play, Elmhurst will set up here. Ellingson wants some help. Stewart with his long arms knocks it away. Stewart is down near the center line, but the Blue Jays staying patient. 15 to shoot. Entry pass for Schroeder. Off to McCurdy from the right side. His 17-footer is short. Propolik taps it to himself on the rebound. Strong side.
McCurdy, I think, just disappointed there that he even took the shot. You could tell by the expression on his face.
30-second timeout for Kalamazoo. Gina Veneer is with me. I'm Tim Calderwood on Blue Jay TV. Don't forget to become a fan of the Blue Jays on Facebook and also follow Elmhurst College Blue Jay Athletics on Twitter. That's where you'll get our most up-to-date schedule. Saturday, basketball, the men's team against Loris. Tuesday, the women are in action at 7 o'clock against Rockford. Visit ElmhurstBlueJays.com for all of the most up-to-date information on Elmhurst College Athletics. 2 minutes even to play. Hope you've enjoyed our broadcast tonight from R.A. Faginal Hall. As Kalamazoo will inbound the basketball to Joe Wilson, who's on the floor with 4 fouls. Ghaffari angling right, bouncing for Clark. His 3-footer is short, and the rebound is off of Propolic. Tried the turnaround hook shot. Didn't get enough loft on it. Right off the edge of the rim. McCurdy falls to the ground. Ball is loose. Elmhurst was calling for a timeout. I think they're going to give the Blue Jays the timeout. They do. As the basketball came free, Kalamazoo stepped out with it. But Craig Jeffries says he saw Elmhurst calling for the timeout before it escaped the Blue Jays. A big break for Elmhurst with 1:36 to play.
Well, hopefully, Tim, they can take advantage of a great call, actually, by Coach Scheer. It would have led to a Blue Jay turnover had he not gotten that timeout call in. Luckily, also for the Blue Jays, the referee saw him signal for a timeout, which is half the battle.
Blue Jay TV men's basketball action this evening. Both teams have played a relatively tough schedule, have been involved in a lot of close games. Both teams are entering off their first victory of the season. Elmhurst on the road Sunday at Westminster. Olivet, or I should say Oberlin, was the victim for Kalamazoo on Monday in a 21-point win. The Blue Jays played Olivet earlier this season. Kalamazoo is the second opponent for Elmhurst out of the MIAA. 1:36 to go. Out of the timeout, it is Blue Jay basketball. Each team with 7 fouls, so not super bonus time yet. Possession arrow is with Kalamazoo. 20 to shoot for Elmhurst as the Blue Jays inbound the basketball. Boyd up the left edge of the floor, throws up the 16-footer. How about Zach Boyd? 24 points, a season high on Sunday. 22 of those in the second half. Tonight, 25 points, a season high, with 21 in the second half. Corner left, Wilson, 3-pointer in and out. McCurdy chases down the long rebound on the strong side.
Well, as the Blue Jays reloaded there on that full timeout, he's the guy that they wanted to give the ball to. Zach Boyd put the 2 points in, put him up by a 2-possession game we're seeing right now, an advantage of the Blue Jays, and we're under a minute to play.
And Elmhurst can use a little bit of the clock. They have 13 to shoot as McCurdy high left starts to work. Over to Boyd with 8 to shoot. Boyd, 19-footer, swatted by Propolic. Shot clock has gone dark. Propolic in transition, low left off the window and through. 59-57 with 28 and 2/10 to play. A timeout for Kalamazoo. It's a full one and we break as well. Stay tuned. The thrilling finish comes your way in mere moments. This is Blue Jay TV. Kalamazoo taking a timeout. They have 2 remaining, 28.2 on the clock. They'll set up the press. Down by a deuce at 59-57. McCurdy dancing along the baseline, inbounds it to Boyd, who is promptly fouled. So Zach Boyd with 25 points tonight, 21 of which have come here in the second half. He is at the line looking to add to the total. More importantly, because it's only the 8th foul against Kalamazoo, it is 1-1. So Boyd needs to make the first. At the line today, a perfect 4 of 4. Off the back iron. Basketball is loose, out of bounds. Off of Acosta, and Kalamazoo is going to have an opportunity to tie it or win it. Well, let's see what Rob Passage has in mind. With 2 timeouts in his pocket, will he take one? He's not going to. He'll let Kalamazoo run it down to 15 seconds. Corner right, Kafari into the lane, knocked away. A whistle though, and Joe Acosta cannot believe it. Into the lane for Propolik with 10 seconds remaining. Propolik with 16 for the Hornets. To the free throw line for the first time tonight. 1-1 for the 86% free throw shooter. The crowd lets him hear it, and it is short. Rebound out of bounds off of Clark to the Blue Jays with 8.6 and another Kalamazoo timeout. Gina, do you think they should have taken the timeout there with the basketball and 21 seconds to go?
Well, it's a tough call. Really, you're able to, to see what kind of thing you're going to set up here on offense. But for Kalamazoo, fortunately for the Blue Jays, missing the free throw is coming to a huge advantage. And one other thing is another advantage of having Joe Acosta on the court for the Blue Jays. You saw he kind of made a mistake there with the foul, but he gets right back in it, right on the free throw line, and gets a great possession by the Blue Jays, which could lead to something special here as we see the thriller unfold.
8 6/10 remaining. Gina will chat with Elmhurst head coach Mark Scheer following the contest, so don't go anywhere. We will join her a few moments following the conclusion of the contest. Elmhurst looking for their 2nd consecutive win after dropping the first 4 games of the season. Up by 2 at 59-57. Kalamazoo has to go for the steal or the 5-second call, and if they can't get it, the Hornets will need to put Elmhurst at the line. The Blue Jays break with Acosta, Ellingson, Boyd, and McCurdy, along with Aaron Schroeder, who is deep as the home run option. So if you're looking for someone to foul, it's probably Acosta. They'll get it into Boyd, who is quickly fouled. 1.1 ticks off of the clock. And Zach Boyd, who missed the front end moments ago, will step to the line as the Blue Jays huddle with 7.3. And Rob Passage will take his final timeout. A wild game tonight at R.A. Fagel Hall, and just the 2nd home game for the Blue Jays, who are back at home on Saturday against the Dewhawks from Loras College, the preseason favorites in the Iowa Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. 7:30 tip-off. We'll have it for you here on Blue Jay TV. Mark Scheer has gathered his troops here. Meanwhile, Rob Passage spending his final timeout for Kalamazoo. He's on his knees drawing up a play for the Hornets should the free throw miss. It is a 1-1 for Boyd, who is 4 of 5 from the stripe this evening. Don't forget, all of our contests are available to watch on demand. That's right. Visit the Blue Jay Athletics YouTube page, Blue Jay TV. Kalamazoo tried to get a sub in, but he did not check to the table before the horn, so the referees will not allow Jeff Hollenbeck to enter. Boyd bending at the knees. The first free throw is in. A season high 26 for Boyd, who has matched his total of 22 from the second half on Sunday, with 22 more in the second half here tonight. Only one of those, however, has been from three-point range. The crowd has gone silent as the second free throw is off the back iron. It's a three-point lead. Kalamazoo can tie it with a tray. Clark jogs it up. A 23-footer at the buzzer, off the mark. The putback attempt by Propolic would have counted if it went, but it wouldn't have meant the end of the ball game. And interestingly enough, Elmhurst upends Kalamazoo to win their second consecutive contest and the fourth victory in a row over the Hornets by the same exact score that they won by in Kalamazoo last season, 60-57. But a pretty good look for Ryan Clark at the end, Gina.
It was a great look, and it was exactly what Kalamazoo had to do. And fortunately, Zach Boyd did put that last free throw in, though he could have made it a two-possession game over right at the free throw line. At least putting that one in there puts pressure on Kalamazoo, forces up a three-point shot, and the likeliness of making it is much less, putting the Blue Jays at a victory for the night.
Gina will have the head coach of the Blue Jays, Mark Scheer, in mere moments. This is Blue Jay TV. Two in a row for Elmhurst College. It wasn't easy tonight. 60-57 is the final score at R.A. Faginal Hall. Welcome back in as the Blue Jays celebrating their second consecutive victory and their first of the 2010-2011 campaign in front of the home crowd. We will have another Elmhurst contest coming your way on Saturday night here on Blue Jay TV as the Blue Jays meet Loras College in a 7:30 tip-off. Spend a moment to run through some of the final scores for you here tonight as the Blue Jays take care of Kalamazoo 60-57. A last-second attempt by Ryan Clark to tie the contest was off the mark. And before we go to the final scores, I'll let you know that Wheaton has upended Trinity International 76-72. Elmhurst out-rebounding Kalamazoo 33-31 in the contest, with 12 of those rebounds coming on the offensive end, leading to 10 second-chance points. The Blue Jays shoot 38% in the second half, while 38% for the game, 43% in the second half, while Kalamazoo shoots 50% overall. Gina Vanier is lining up her opportunity to chat with Mark Scheer, the Elmhurst College head coach, and we will get to that for you in just moments. Zach Boyd, the story tonight for Elmhurst, 26 points, of which 22 came in the second half. He finishes with 9 rebounds, a game high for both departments, as Elmhurst records the victory over Kalamazoo here tonight, their second win in a row. Let's see some of the other numbers. Kalamazoo only went to the free throw line 7 times. They were 4 of 7, turned it over 16 times. He had 23 lead changes and 11 ties in the contest. The largest Kalamazoo lead was 5. The largest Elmhurst lead was at 4, and the final margin was a 3-point victory for the Blue Jays. 18 points for Joe Propolic, including 16 in the second half to go along with 9 rebounds, leading Kalamazoo. As the Blue Jays welcome you in here to the broadcast booth. That would be the back of my head that you are seeing currently. As Elmhurst is ready to hear from the head coach. Gina Vanier is down with Mark Shear.
Gina Vanier here down courtside with the Elmhurst College Blue Jays coach Mark Shear. Coach Shear, talk a little bit about how you guys led to victory. Second home game of the season, picking up a non-conference win. What was the approach and how did you get there?
Well, we really talked about, Gina, playing with extreme intensity. We played very well at Westminster to win on Sunday, but it was a long road trip for us, and we came back and practiced on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we were a little flat. So we really wanted to come out with intensity. We played a lot of people in the first half so that we would be rested in the second half. That was part of our game plan.
Lots of lead changes in tonight's game, back and forth constantly. What did you do to find a rhythm and lead to the victory?
Well, I think that we played a lot of people in the first half, as part of our game plan to be rested in the second half. And then the second half, we really went with about an 8-man rotation and stuck with it. So it was easier for those 8 to get in a rhythm.
26 points tonight for Zach Boyd, the junior for Elmhurst College. Talk a little bit about his performance.
He's really coming on. He had 22 in the second half at Westminster to lead us to a victory, and tonight he came up big in the second half as well. We always knew he could do that. He's been kind of waiting in the wings to get to his junior year, and we're real proud of him.
Yeah, he really broke out tonight, and we saw that, fortunately for you guys, leading to a victory. Coach, walk us through. We're under 2 minutes of the game. You get a timeout call, and that leads to kind of you guys able to reload, reset, and actually leads to Boyd putting in 2 points, putting you guys up by 4 with under 2 points. Significance of that?
We ran a little play what we call cutter thumbs down for him, which was kind of a counter to a couple shots we had got him earlier in the game. And he was able to hit down a nice shot and make that shot. And of course, you just want the ball in your best players' hands, and you want them to get a look at the basket. And then we were sending all the 4 other guys to the glass. So he knew that he had guys going for the rebound, and I think that gave him the confidence to knock it down.
Well, it led to a victory and confidence with that. 2 in a row, Coach. Keep it going. Loris on Saturday here at Elmhurst College. Thanks a lot.
Gina Vanier with head coach Mark Shear as the Blue Jays win their second contest in a row, 60-57. We started to run down some of the final scores for you. Joe Propolic with 18 points. Ryan Clark with 16 for Kalamazoo. 8 for Joe Wilson, 7 for Mark Ghaffari. And then 2 apiece for Tyler Stewart, Dane Carey, Grant Carey, and Jeff Hollenbeck. For the Blue Jays, Zach Boyd with 26, 9 points for Steve Crane. Boyd was the only player in double digits for Elmhurst, 8 for Mike McCurdy, including a couple of big shots late in the contest. 4 points each for Joe Acosta and Raphael Oglesby, 3 for Eric Ellingson and Sean Fenley, 2 for Deontay Foster, and 1 for Nick Sanford. As the Blue Jays record the victory by the final count of 60-57 tonight in what was a wild one. But Gina, the Blue Jays found a way.
Yeah, they certainly did. We hear Coach Shear basically telling us after the interview that he was actually pleased with the victory. They battled. He appreciated it. I think they came out at halftime realizing that this is anybody's game and probably decided, hey, let's take it away.
It's all about taking steps forward. And for Elmhurst, it's 2 wins in a row with Loris coming to town on Saturday. Tip-off is at 7:30, and we will have it for you here on Blue Jay TV. That will wrap up our coverage tonight from R.A. Faginal Hall. For our entire Blue Jay TV crew, producer, director Glenn, cameraman Rich, and for my partner Gina Vanier, I am Tim Calderwood saying thanks for watching.